Well, I'm sure it's exciting for the people of Auburn. I mean, I know that the Blue Jays were here for a long time and Houston before that, but I think it's always exciting to get a new group of people in. But I think they'll find out pretty quick that, we're minor league baseball people and we're all pretty similar. We've got a great group of people to work for and work with, and we'll have a good group of kids here this summer, I'm sure.
You talk about just a regular, like minor league baseball player, manager like everyone else. Dennis Holmberg was kind of loved in this town, been here for a while. Do you know much about him? Do you know what he did?
It's funny you say that because this game has a funny way of coming around. I know Dennis very well. I worked in Toronto with him for 8 years, and he's a unique individual. Dennis and I had a great relationship. I still keep in touch with him. We used to call him in spring training, we'd call him the mayor of Auburn because he was here for so long. But it's funny how the game works. All those years in Toronto, I never made it to Auburn because Dennis was here, but now the first year that the Nationals are in Auburn, here I am. So it's just funny how the game works.
Especially in minor league baseball, teams, especially fans around here, identify with the manager because players come and go, but the manager is kind of here forever. Do you feel that kind of pressure or anything like that?
No, I don't feel it. It's to me, you got to keep it in perspective, especially at this level. I mean, you're going to have a first-year group of kids. We're going to bring in a good group of kids, like I said. You just really never know. It all depends on how the draft goes, will depend on what kind of team we have. So to have the success all those years that that Toronto was here, and I'm sure Houston is very unique because you just never know. I mean, like I was telling a few people a little while ago, all the guys that we're going to have here this summer, for the most part, are still playing college baseball. We don't even know who they're going to be. So really, there's no pressure. Like I said, we'll have a good group of kids, and we'll get them off on the right foot in their careers.
What are you looking forward to most?
I haven't been at this level. I was in the Appalachian League in 2004, so it's been quite a while since I've been at this level. But I'm looking forward to really instilling what I believe is important for these kids as they get their career started. All the little things that'll help them do the big things. Their daily routines and how it is to work as a professional and be ready to play a game, and probably unlike anything they're used to. In college you play on the weekends for the most part, but you gotta be ready to play every night. And I think that preparation and being ready to play as a professional every night is something that I'm looking forward to instilling in some of these kids.
When you were named the manager, I talked to Doug that night, and the first thing you kind of talked about was how great a teacher you are. I mean, do you consider yourself a great teacher, and if so, why?
Well, I mean, I'll leave that for others to judge, but I do. I like to pay attention to details, and I do love to teach. The good Lord's given me the ability to handle a lot of different parts of this game. I've been a base running guy, I've been a hitting guy, I've been a manager, I've been a hitting coach. I've worked with a first baseman because I'm left-handed, so there's just a lot of stuff that I've been able to do, and I feel like I can have some input in a lot of different areas in the game. And a lot of guys are a little more specialized. But I feel like I can handle a lot of different areas of the game, and I think that allows me to not just be working with one certain group of guys. I can get the infielders out early and work on certain things, double play or whatever I think that they need to work on, or the third baseman, or the corner outfielders or the catchers. So I really like kids to pay attention to details because I think it's a game of little things, and I think the guys that pay attention to the details of the game, besides being talented, obviously, are the guys that are going to be successful.
You were obviously, you said 2004 was the last time you were at this level, but you also played this level. Do you have any memories from the New York Penguins?
I wish I could remember. I really do. It was 1984, and I played with the Oneonta Yankees. I actually played in Auburn against the Astros. I've tried so hard to think about, I just can't remember very much about that summer. I mean, we're going on almost 27 years now. I remember bits and pieces. I remember playing against the Astros. I don't remember very much about it, but I do still remember the feelings I had, though, as a first-year player coming out of college. What's this professional game all about? It's something kids dream about, since they start Little League, and now all of a sudden you get a chance to fulfill that dream. And I remember those kind of apprehensive feelings. Okay, what do we do next? And how important I feel like your instructors are at that level, because they're the first guys that are going to meet these kids out of college and kind of set the tone for them. So I'm sure that those kids have some of the same feelings I had, so I'll remember that in dealing with them and how important it is for them to feel comfortable and get off on the right foot.
How valuable is it that you know how they feel? I feel like that might be the most important aspect, that you know what they're going for.
Well, to me, whatever level you manage or coach at, if you've been a player, you know how guys feel. Because we all start in rookie ball and we progress up to however far and however our careers take us. So you always remember what it felt like to be a player and how hard it was, and the failure and how to deal with the failure and the nightly grind, and what are we, 0 for 4 and 0 for 8 and 2 for 15, and giving up 7 runs in a start and kind of come back 5 days later and do it. So once you're a player, you really never forget those feelings. So I think you're able to kind of help those kids get through those times when you've been through it yourself.
I know last year you dealt with, I don't know how you groomed Steven Strasburg for a bit. What did you learn from that situation, if anything?
Well, in 2009, I was fortunate enough to manage in the Arizona Fall League, and that's the creme de la creme of minor league baseball. I mean, it's a 6-week session out there, and lucky for me, it was Steven's first professional action. He went to instructional league with us, got his work, and got ready to come out there, and I told people out there, and I still tell them, and the gentleman Ed that picked me up at the airport, we were talking about Strasburg coming over here. It's hard to describe what kind of kid he is until you've been around him. He's been exposed to so much. He's as talented as anybody I have ever seen. I've been around a lot of great players. But to me, the way he handles himself as an individual, as respectful as he is, he's a hard-working kid. He wants to learn. He listens. I think that ultimately, besides the fact that he's incredibly talented, I think will make him, if he stays healthy, I think it will make him a potential Hall of Fame player, just because of the type of person he is, and not just because of the talent. Tremendous kid.
Did he teach you anything in as being a manager, or just dealing with that kind of circus almost?
The guys in the Fall League did a great job. They had some security following him around and had some security on our bus trips. So they kept him pretty insulated. There was a couple little instances, which there always are, but it's funny you say that, because I did think about, okay, this guy's a major leaguer. I mean, he's a major leaguer next year, and I knew that. And how are you going to deal with these guys? So it did help me out to learn how, okay, what am I going to do to help this kid? Because I know he's not very far from the big league. So I think anytime you deal with anybody at any level, if you use it the right way, it should be able to help you. Because as an instructor, you should learn something every day anyway.
Last year you managed a very successful team. Auburn wasn't as successful. How do you plan on bringing that winning attitude to Auburn?
Well, like I said, we'll bring in a good group of kids. You don't know what you're going to get through the draft. We'll have some holdovers from extended spring, besides the draft kids. But we will, and I'm a firm believer, and I've always said this, a lot of people don't talk about winning in the minor leagues. I don't think it's the most important thing at all, especially at this level. But I do think it can be incorporated into player development, because if not, if you just talk about development and not really concentrating on winning, and it's more for probably the AA and AAA level, when you get to the big leagues, it's win tonight and win tomorrow night. You got to win every night. There's no more development. So all of a sudden to have this culture shock of, okay, I don't have the leeway of going 2 for 20 here and kind of getting my feet wet. So there'll be a little bit of that at this level, probably not as much as I said, probably at the AA and AAA level, and even at the high A level I was at last year. But I do think incorporating a little bit of the winning atmosphere and winning attitude and what it is to be a winner will be part of what we do this summer.
Leads me right to my next question. When fans come to Falcon Park and they leave the stadium, win, lose, or draw, or whatever, what do you want them to say? They didn't win, but that Doubledays team sure is.
You're gonna see a group of kids that works as hard as any group you've ever had here. I can promise you that. The organization, that's what we stand for now. We've made a lot of changes here in the last few years, and we're on the way to being an organization to be reckoned with. And the people in place now who are making the decisions, guys who I work for, guys who I work with, fellow instructors, we're all on the same page. We're going to play hard. We're going to play the game the right way. I know everybody says it, but if you came to one of our spring training games and watched the way we play and watched the consequences, if you don't play that way, there's going to be some consequences. So kids are going to know right away that the Nationals are going to play the game a certain way, and I think the fans in this area and everybody in the Penn League will enjoy the kind of baseball we're going to play.
Gary, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. It was great talking.
Okay.